Hi guys, thank you for joining our first Mehfil series, which is Ghazals and Guftgu, with our very esteemed guest Tanya Wells. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes, maybe 5 minutes or so. You know what Asians are like with their timings, fashionably late. So I'll give it a few minutes. Just want to give enough people the chance to join, as Tanya will be starting with a performance for us all. So I will not be singing, actually. I got a few messages from people. This is not about me, this is about Tanya. And for those of you that don't know her, wow, you are in for a treat. Really excited, so honoured, deeply honoured that she has taken the time out to join and celebrate South Asian Heritage Month UK with us. No words for how deeply grateful we are that she's given us all this time. So I will not be singing, even though the Tanpura is one that is just there for ambience. I wanted to create a Mehfil vibe, so I dressed up as well. We haven't been out in a while, and I just thought it'd be nice, and it'll create the impression that we are at a Mehfil. So give it a few more minutes. If anyone does have questions or comments, you can share them throughout the live, but there will be an opportunity at the end, depending on how this conversation goes, either 15-20 minutes at the end for a conversation. So just to give you the format while we wait for others to join. I hope you all have your cup of tea, so I've got mine ready. This is a very intimate, casual conversation that we're going to have. And the idea with this Mehfil series is to celebrate South Asian music. And Tanya Wells, though British, British born, lived in England and lived in India, actually. We will go into that when I introduce her. Now lives in Switzerland. But Tanya, although she's well versed in many musical genres, she rose to fame in the South Asian world because she so beautifully sings Ghazals and Sufis and Qawwalis. Oh, if you haven't heard her, like I said, you are in for a treat this evening. Let's just check the time, 8:03, 2 more minutes. Thank you to everyone who's joined our first Mehfil series. I say our, my sister is unable to be here. She's not feeling well, so I am soldering on without her. So it will be a discussion and live performance with myself and Tanya, although Tanya is the one that's performing today, not me. Hi Sarab, hi everyone that's joined. Right, don't want to waste any more time. Thank you to all those that have joined. I will start now. Let me introduce Tanya first. Wait for Tanya to join. So I'll introduce Tanya.
Oh, I'm
Hi.
I think I just clicked on
you just clicked on it, didn't you?
You've just sent.
Yes. Were you waiting, or have I taken you by surprise there?
It's fine. I was waiting, and then I just thought I would click go live with Grewal twins. Hello.
Yeah. So I was just waiting for a few people to join, and then I thought, you know what, I'll let you join, and then your followers can join before I begin the introduction.
Okay.
So I will start now. It's 8:05. So this will be about an hour. Thank you to everyone. Welcome, Ji Ayanu Adab, to our first Mehfil series celebrating South Asian Heritage Month UK. Now my sister is unable to be here, my twin sister, and ironically, Tanya also has a twin sister. Both our twin sisters are not here today. But this session is called Ghazals and Guftgu, and our guest is Tanya Wells. Really honoured and excited to have her here today. Thank you so much, Tanya, like I said early on, a few minutes ago, for those that don't know you, they will be in for a treat, the same way we were when we first heard your, stunning voice. So just going to do an introduction. For those of you that don't know Tanya, I'm going to introduce her. Then she's going to do a short performance, and that will be followed by a conversation, and you will have the opportunity to ask questions to Tanya at the end. So Tanya is a singer-songwriter from the UK. She lived in India as a child, but now resides in Switzerland. Her flexible vocal style has given her opportunities to perform with notable global artists such as Anushka Shankar, Joss Stone, Nitin Soni, and A.R. Rahman. With a double master's with distinction in international performance research, Tanya aims to bring cultures together to tell stories through music. In 2015, together with her husband, Paulo Vinicius, a legendary Brazilian guitarist in his own right, they created their band Seven Eyes. We will talk about the band a little bit later on. Their style is far from conventional and is best described as ever-evolving music, which is a harmonious blend of diverse cultures, languages, and musical genres. Seven Eyes' compositions transcend multiple genres: jazz, Brazilian, Sufi, Hindustani, and Western classical music. In 2016, Seven Eyes released their debut album, The Seed. Tanya and her husband have performed at various prestigious music venues all over the world, including Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club, my favorite, which is in London, United Nations in New York and in Geneva, TEDx Malaysia, as well as the famed Jashan-e-Rekhta Festival in New Delhi, which celebrates the Urdu language and culture, and Fairs International Festival in Lahore, amongst many other global festivals and events. We have been fans of Tanya ever since an impromptu video of her and her twin sister Nikki Wells singing Damadam Mast Kalandar to Pakistani laborers in Dubai went viral on Facebook about 3 years ago. Since then, she has captivated the hearts of South Asians across the globe with her perfect Hindi Urdu diction, as well as her mellifluous singing voice, which she lends to popular ghazals such as Gulon Mein Rang, personal favorite of mine, and Aaj Jaane Ki Zid Na Karo by the celebrated ghazal virtuosos Mehdi Hasan and Frida Khanum ji. और तानिया की आवाज में रूहानियत है जो दिल को सुकून मिलता है, which means when you listen to Tanya's voice, there is a peace that hits your heart. And I hope that you will all feel that whatever we felt, millions of South Asians across the globe have felt. So Tanya, over to you, and everyone, please welcome me wherever you are in the world in giving a warm welcome to Tanya Wells. You can take the floor.
Thank you so much, Henur. Thank you. So I've got a tampura here, so I'm just going to raise it a bit, and I'll start with the legendary ghazal Aaj Jaane Ki Zid Na Karo, sung, as you said before, Farida Khanum ji, she sang it, and I absolutely adore this song too. जाने की जिद ना करूं आज जाने की जिद ना करो आज जाने की जिद ना करो यूं ही पहलों में बैठे रहो यूं ही पहलों में बैठे रहूं आज जाने की जिद ना करो पामर गमग आज जाने की जिद ना सोचो जरा क्यों न रोके तुम्हें जान जाती है जब उठ के जाते हो तुम ही सोचो जरा क्यों न रोके तुम्हें जान जाती है जब उठ के जाते हो तुमको अपनी कसम जाने जा बात इतनी मेरे मान लो आज जाने की जिद ना करूं आज जाने की जिद ना करूं
Wow. Yeah, but Tanya, no words for that. I
Oh,
mean,
thank you, Hannah.
I'm thinking my little music corner in my house where I do my practicing, and I just feel like you've just blessed this little corner with your beautiful voice. And I mean, the hearts are flying up, and look, you can see the comments here. Kya
Oh,
baat,
thank you
no
so much.
word, beautiful. Oh wow. I mean, I think I'll speak on everyone else's behalf. We're really, really privileged. No words, Tanya. The words fail me today, and I usually have a lot to say.
Sweetheart,
At this
thank you.
occasion, you have left me speechless. I mean, that's just a glimpse into, why you've been celebrated as someone who. Thank you, Sunny. Yes, indeed, amazing. Why the world has coined you as a ghazal singer. We are going to talk about this in a moment, but thank you once again. I hope that we get through this conversation so that you can give us another rendition of any other favorite songs of yours, because I think this hour should just be you singing personally and not me talking. But yeah, I want people to know more about you, and hopefully this. So let's start with a rapid fire round, which is basically just an icebreaker for those that aren't familiar with who you are. This is an opportunity for them just to know Tanya, the person. So these questions, because it's South Asian Heritage Month, Tanya, they are South Asian oriented questions.
Okay.
But they're about you. So we'll start with the first question. Also, just to add, if you do have any questions or comments, there will be an opportunity at the end. So I'll keep clock watching. We'll give about 15 minutes at the end. If anyone has any questions, comments, feedback, please do send them through now, and we'll go through them at the end. So let's start. Shuru karte hain. The first question, Tanya, rapid fire round. So
okay,
quick answers. So I mentioned, we will delve into this a little bit later, but you grew up in India. So which musical piece or song reminds you of your childhood in India?
Oof. It would be a bhajan, perhaps a Ganesh bhajan, Sri Ganesh bhajan, or gosh. Ooh, this is really hard. I've got to be rapid. I would say Namami Sri Ganaraj Dayal. It's a bhajan.
Okay, thank you. Which South Asian artist would you like to collab with, living or dead?
Oh,
I know that's very tricky. Very tricky, I know.
You know what? I'm going to say Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan.
Yes, I'll have to agree with you on that one. Which 3 people, living or dead, would you invite to your dinner party? 3 South Asian musicians or artists, of course, living or dead.
Wow. How many?
3. So you got Nusrat, I think, already.
I mean, but dinner parties are interesting because you really want to, that's an opportunity to have a conversation. I would invite Rabindranath Tagore. I would invite, Um, I would invite Jhansi Kirani, if I could.
Wow. Okay.
And I would invite Dr. Ambedkar.
That is a great dinner table, and I think if you can pull
Let's
up
see
a
what
seat for
happens.
me, I'd like to join that table as well. That's a great table. I thought you were going to give me some musicians, but yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Okay, a musical question. You've learned bhajans, qawwalis, thumris, ghazals. Which of these genres do you like the most?
It's again a tricky question, but I'm drawn to bhajan because I love the emotion of devotion, and I love the soulfulness of just singing to the divine. So that would probably be up there. But then I love the composition and the intricacy of ghazal as well. And then I'm a huge fan, ultimately, of Hindustani classical music. So I don't know if I can actually select. It's about the mood that you want to sort of delve into, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a difficult question, but that's fine. I know it's hard. If someone asked me, I'd probably say the same. I'd say bhajans or qawwali because I'm naturally drawn to naturally drawn to devotional music. So I know that's tough. Okay, final question in rapid fire round. Which is your favorite instrument from the South Asian subcontinent, apart from the vocals, not the voice, a different instrument?
Okay, I was going to say sarangi, but I've recently heard a beautiful Punjabi instrument which is like the sarangi. You might help me with it.
Saranda?
It's not. It's another one. It's
Dilruba?
Dilruba. Is it the Dilruba? I know there's.
I've got it here. Describe. Is it a stringed instrument?
It's stringed, and it's. I think it's the Dilruba. It's very sweet, and it's like, it's got all the kind of you can do all the ornaments like a sarangi, but
it's either a Dilruba or a taus, which is like the base of it is like a peacock.
Yeah, I think it's that one.
It's probably one of those two because those are they're coming to my mind in terms of string instrument. But I actually have it here. This box you can't really see. It's my Dilruba. I'm not going to play it. I'm very rusty. Yeah, we've got someone here. Anand. Yes, I think it must be Dilruba that you're describing.
Hello, Anandita. She's an amazing singer, by the way, Anandita Basu.
Oh, okay. Oh, amazing. I'm so glad we've got so many other singers here. I think it's Dilruba, Tanya, and it is. You're right. It's a beautiful instrument. When I first heard it, it was on a CD someone gave me, and as soon as I heard it, I needed to learn it, and I learned harmonium and tabla as a child, and I was like, I need to be introduced to this instrument, and it changed my life because you'll understand that harmonium is a very static instrument, and Dilruba string instruments teach you how to bend your voice. So yeah, I completely resonate with that in terms of the beauty of its sound. Okay, that's the rapid fire round questions. Now on to getting to know you. Yeah, that's it, over and done with now. You don't need to stress there. Right, so I mentioned in the introduction that you had spent part of your childhood in India, so your formative years of your childhood was spent in Himachal Pradesh, for those that don't know. So just tell us about this experience and how it influenced your musical direction.
Right, yeah. Well, so I went to a boarding school in Himachal, in a little village near Dharamsala, and it was an international school. So we were at school with people from different parts of the world, and also we were immersed in learning about Indian culture. So every week we would have, we would wake up in the morning and meditate. We would sing bhajan, and we would, learn the general school subjects, but among them would be Hindi, and we learned Kuchipuri dance, which is a South Asian form of classical dance, and so we were really immersed in lots of, and of course, we always listen to different musics from the South Asian subcontinent. So it was a very inspiring experience, and being there at such a formative age, so 6, 7, 8, I was there. It just sort of planted this seed in my imagination about expression and the arts. And so I went into the arts. I was interested in the arts later on in life, but I really was drawn to going back to learn more about in Indian arts, and I got the opportunity to study Hindustani classical music when I was a bit older, 17. And yeah, that definitely
You
was.
went back to India, right?
Yeah.
You were in England and went back as a 17-year-old.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, of course, that was going to influence. You're surrounded by that. The music, and like you said, when I asked the first question, what musical piece or song reminds you of your childhood in India, and you said bhajan. So what was the first ghazal that you heard, and what do you find alluring about ghazals, and do you remember where you were as well when you heard it?
Yeah, ghazal came a lot later on when I was studying with one of my teachers in Nagpur, and he's really let me just switch this off. He's an incredible musician, and he wanted me to learn how to sing like classical. And so that's how ghazal came into the repertoire. So he said, listen to these singers, and, gave me so much music of Mehdi Hasan Saab and Ghulam Ali and Shubha Gurtu. And I had a whole playlist where I was just, for months and then consequently years, I was listening to these artists. And I think he just wanted me to absorb the dexterity of what these singers are doing, because you have a lot more freedom when you're singing like classical music in terms of how you express using different colors of different rags perhaps. And so I mean, it definitely came later on when I went to study with him in my early 20s actually. So that was much later that I'd sort of started to listen to ghazal. But also when I was introduced to Mehdi Hasan Saab, I was just a fan. And so I would listen to him all the time and really enjoy his ghazal so much. So yeah, that definitely came later on. But I'm a huge fan of ghazal as well.
I mean, on that point, like you said, ghazals give you the ability to be a bit more creative. I was learning Drupad for a while, which is a very devotional style, and I found that difficult because it doesn't lend very well to being that creative with your voice in terms of ornamentation, because it's about devotion. The focus is on the words that you're singing.
Yeah,
so
and the also, isn't it? Like Drupad is just so deep and meditative.
So I found that I really wanted to express and be decorate certain words, and it just doesn't lend well in that genre. So I understand what you're saying about ghazals. They're light and playful, aren't they? That's how you describe them.
I think as a singer you have a lot more freedom to put your own influence into the poetry.
Completely. So I just want to go back, actually. You mentioned, we've touched on the fact that you lived in India as a child, and there's something that I just thought was really interesting. I really loved it when you shared this with me, that you had you were given names, right, as children, your sisters, so your twin sister and your older sister. Tell us what these names were. These were Hindi sort of names, if you like.
Yeah.
But I'll let you share it, because when you shared it with me, I was just like, that is amazing.
Well, no, so at the school, we were called our Indian names, and these names were given by our Guruma, who is Srimati Jinirma Devi. So when we were babies, she held my twin sister and I, and she said, this is Bhakti and this is Shakti. Wow. And my eldest sister was named Mahadevi, and she was holding her, and her name's Caroline. Her English name is Caroline, but Mahadevi just had her eyes closed, and she said, she's in deep meditation. This is Mahadevi. And for years we were called our Indian names. And when we returned to the UK, aged 8, 9, it was so alien for me to be called Tanya, because at school people called me, my name is Tanya Marie Vijaya Wells. And it was just so alien for me. But you know, some friends of mine who were at school with me in India still call me Bhakti, and there's just a sweet spot. You know, whenever I hear someone say Bhakti, I sometimes get goosebumps.
You know, and it's interesting that you said your name was Bhakti and your twin sisters was Shakti. And if we talk about you and how you have this affinity with devotional music and your name was Bhakti.
Absolutely. Well, that's something I remember thinking that when I was really young. I thought, how did she know I was Bhakti? Because I definitely do feel an affinity with the need to express devotion through music, usually. And then my sister Shakti, she is just like powerful through and through. You know, she is a fighter. She's a true warrior, and
that's amazing.
She was, and it is. They really resonate with us, and I wonder whether we manifested into those names or whether they were just imbibed in us. I don't know, but I like the idea of Shumataji somehow innately knowing our personalities somehow.
Someone is saying here, hello Bhakti to you.
Oh, thank you. Hello.
I just wanted to share that. I really loved that when you told me, and I thought I really want you to share that with everybody. It's something that's not well known about you, but it's lovely. Right, so I've learned Hindustani classical music. I learned Kirtan. That was my introduction into classical music. So I know how difficult of a genre it is. So you know, even for South Asian artists. So what was the fascination for you about this genre? I know you said you first heard the bhajans when you were a child, but then you didn't just stop at hearing it. There was something about it where you decided, you know, I want to learn this. I don't want to just listen to it. I want to learn it. What was that pull there for you?
Yeah.
Was it melodies? Was it the language?
I mean, it is all of that, but I think essentially it was how it made me feel. Because you know, when you listen to music, it can make you feel a certain way. You know, sometimes you want to put on some music and dance. You know, sometimes you want to put on some music and cry. You know, but sometimes if I listen to a beautiful rendition of Hindustani classical music, it takes me to a very special place, and it's usually quite a meditative place, and I really enjoy that feeling that it gives. And also there's so much richness to it as well. So I'm always entertained because I love music and I love melody. So there's always something interesting going on, whether it's rhythmically or melodically. So I'm just a fan.
I mean, you'll know this as well in terms of Hindustani classical music. What makes it different from other genres or Western classical music is the way it builds up. So it starts off really slow.
Yeah.
And then you eventually build up to this crescendo. Yeah. And I like that journey, that roller coaster of emotions. You know, it starts off, very, very slow tempo, and then gradually it just picks up pace. And then suddenly the word is mastana. You're just imbued in the sound, you know, or the words can carry you away, and you don't even realize how you got from here to there. You know, that's something that I like about it. I like being able to be pulled in that direction.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, isn't it? Completely. But that's interesting. You know, I like the way you described that it was everything, the combination of the language and the rags and how it makes you feel. Essentially, that's exactly what music is, right? It touches your heart in a certain way. You want to cry, you want to dance, you want to shout out loud, or just contemplate. And I think with Hindustani classical music, the rags are so unique. They allow you to express these variety of emotions.
Absolutely.
Which I think, and you can expand on this because you're the expert. I think that's something that isn't.
I just want to clarify.
In terms of music, I meant to say, Tanya, that I don't know of many other musical genres that have this array of rags or melodies and designed to have a particular impact on your mood. Is what I mean.
Well, I think, you know, also the rag system is ancient, isn't it? So it's coming from, you know, a very like you know, primal place within us. And I wouldn't only just say the Indian subcontinent, I would say humanity. Like it's you know, like Sanskrit is the mother of so many languages spoken today, and in the same way rags can be considered the sort of you know, these characters of melody that really have a personality, and that kind of, you know, can just, there's something very innate about rags that many people can sort of, I don't know, something
Even,
very ancient.
yeah, even with the sargams, you know, sare gama pada nisa, they are it's said that they are they replicate the sound of nature. So like you said, something very primal, something very natural about them. And nature doesn't discriminate wherever you are in the world. It doesn't know any boundaries. And I think maybe that is also what this subconscious pull might be for those, you know, who are not sort of native South Asians, and they have this attraction to this music. And that's why I was keen to ask you what it was. But yeah, exactly that. Music has the ability to evoke an emotion. That's what his job is, right? Essentially.
Yeah. Exactly.
So now let's clear up a massive misconception that now, you know, you are more than just a ghazal singer. I know I asked you to sing a ghazal, and you know that's what you're known for in the South Asian world. But you know, you're well versed in so many other musical genres. Yet the world has coined you as a ghazal singer. So you know, you appreciate this genre, which is clear to see. And you're very good at singing it. So I just want to discuss your feelings about, you know, about being associated with this term as a ghazal singer.
Yeah, well, you know, I spoke to you about this when we first met, when we first spoke. And I just wanted to clear up that title, because I would not self-proclaim that I am a ghazal singer. I am a huge fan of the genre, but you know, that's not a platform that I would ever put myself on. It's like, you know, sometimes it's a tricky one, because you know, as singers we want to learn and also explore different areas of music. And so I'm also a huge fan of gospel music, right? But I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a gospel singer, but I would sing gospel with my full heart and soul. And the same way with jazz. So it's a tricky one, because I put out Gulu Meranga Pare on our YouTube channel, and it went viral in Pakistan. And, you know, we had the opportunity to go to Lahore and perform at the Fairs Festival, and it was wonderful. But then, like you said, this idea stuck, because I was being exposed in the genre of ghazal. So people just naturally assume, oh, this is, you know, a Western ghazal singer. And it was just a bit like, oh gosh, I mean, it's not, I would say that I am a student first and foremost. And I'm just enjoying learning, you know, and but also I'm a singer-songwriter, and so, you know, I'm influenced by these melodies, and I write my own songs. You know, I with Seven Eyes, we're always composing our original music, and so many different influences are coming into our compositions, and ghazal is just one of them. So that's what I would just like to clear up first of all. You know, I would just like to, you know, assume myself as a singer-songwriter. That's great.
Yeah, who's just influenced by the various sounds around her in the world.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, your favorite ghazal, please, of Mehdi Hasan, and favorite Grewal of Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan.
Wow.
I know it's hard. Well, I'll give you a second to think about it, Tanya, and I'll share what mine are, and then it'll give you some time to think about it. So my favorite ghazal of Mehdi Hasan, Gulo Me Rang, obviously. It's I don't know, it's something so evergreen about it, and the way he sings it, you can feel a flower blossoming, you know, in the lyrics, the way he sings it. I also like Ki Jana Mekon, but that's not a ghazal. It's Kafi of Bulle Shah. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, Akhiyan Udik Diyan is my favorite, because when I listen to that, when I want to go a bit crazy, when I'm at home by myself, I'll put that on, and I'm just transported into another world. And That's my favorite one. And I also like the lyrics. It's a devotional one, you know, it's got a devotional aspect to it, but it could also be, you know, the love of the divine or the love of the mortal. It's, you know, there's a dual aspect there. So what are yours?
It's a really hard question to answer. And Mehdi Hassan, he's just such a phenomenal singer that whatever he touches, really, it turns to gold. I would agree that Gulum Rang Bhare is definitely one of those golden ghazals that is just, you know, a classic, and it's so beautifully expressed as well. And the poetry by Faiz Ahmed Faiz is also beautiful. So I think, you know, the poetry is also, it depends what is being said. But I would say what draws me first, because I'm not fluent in Urdu, I can't understand all of the poetry. So what draws me in first is the rag. And when I first heard Mehdi Hassan sing Shola Tha, I'm not sure, Jal Bujahu. I'm not Shola Tha Jal Bujahu.
Oh wow.
Rakirwani just floors me. So I was ironing, listening to this, and I literally just stopped, and I was just like, what did he just do? I was like, whoa, I'm gonna burn my clothes. It was just such one of those moments where you just stop and you're like, come again. But that was, you know, Rakirwani has that power as well. So I don't know. I can't say a favorite because I and then also I have a really close feeling with Dunya Kisi Ke Pyar Mein, because I remember I remember I listened to that. I was on a bus going from Mumbai to Nagpur, and you know the sleeper buses in India, so I had my own little bunk, and I was listening to music in my iPod, and I was listening to Mehdi Hassan, and it was just such like a lullaby, and I was looking out the window and just saw all the stars, and so it was like Taro se kam nahi. And so there's I have a beautiful relationship with that ghazal as well, because it just reminds me of that time when I was learning music. So I think that's the thing. Songs also make us think of particular moments in our lives. And so for Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahab, again, it's very hard to choose, but there's one that he sings with so much devotion and depth, which is Ali, 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 Mola, Ali. And it's in Rag Bhairavi, which is again one of those rags that I just completely, my heart.
Beautiful.
So it's like Ali Mola, Ali Mola, Ali Dam Dam, Ali Mola, Ali Mola, Ali Dam Dam. It's just very devotional, and also the chorals, they command this strength, you know, and they're all singing in praise of Hazrat Ali, and it just feels like there's this, I don't know, it just has this energy.
I know, it's indescribable, isn't it? It's when it's like an arrow to the heart. You can't describe it. It's just it pierces you, right? And sometimes words fail you when it comes to music. And there's this famous saying in Punjabi, it's even in the Guru Granth Sahib, that how do you describe the taste of something sweet to someone who hasn't experienced it? How do you explain that to them? And I guess music is the same. You just have to be there and feel it, and I can use all the words in the dictionary and it won't suffice, because you cannot describe feelings. I think, you know, it's just music is just so beautiful in that way. But you know, I'm just looking at the time. It's 8:40, and I have one more question. You know, we could go over, but I want this video to be saved. So we'll see how this goes. But I want people to ask questions, and I would love for you to do one more performance. But I just want to go and you know, touch on your band, Seven Eyes Band, which you've created with your husband, who is a legendary guitarist, Brazilian guitarist. And I joined your live. I think last week, my sister and I joined your live where you were singing various ghazals in celebration of Mehdi Hassan.
That's right.
And I'm just listening to it in the background, and the guitar, oh my God, even my husband, he said, you know, I just feel so transported. And it's such a beautiful duo to have, you know, your beautiful voice his beautiful guitar. What was the inspiration behind that? The name Seven Eyes as well, and you know, upcoming projects and gigs, and yeah, just tell us about your band.
Absolutely. So Seven Eyes was created really when Paolo and I met. And so it's also the coming together of all of our different influences. So
Yeah.
we were looking for a band name for quite a long time. And one day, I was in South London. I was in Lambeth in Clapham North. And the name Seven Eyes just popped into my head after I had done a meditation. I was staying in an ashram, and we all did a collective meditation together, and we were working on the Ida Nadi, which is the left side, and just also trying to let go of any worries and fears. And I just sort of surrendered. I had the attention in my head that, oh gosh, we need to get a name for our band. And then I just let it go. And then this name Seven Eyes came into my head, and I just quickly Googled it. And William Blake, the British poet William Blake, had written about Seven Eyes. And they've been interpreted. He wrote them and illustrated the whole book of Job, which is a journey of a man's spiritual journey. And the seven eyes represent these seven angels which guide him on his journey towards God.
Interesting.
And I know. So I was like, this is interesting. We researched a bit more.
It relates to the way I see it also is the seven chakras, which are the eyes, right? Yeah.
Exactly, which is also a journey towards God. You know, it's a journey through the chakras up to the Sahasrara, where you have yoga, where you have union. And so a lot of different people have different interpretations about it. So some people said, oh, is it the seven continents? And so it's nice that people bring their own ideas to the interpretation to the name. But I think I was just captured, and Paolo was also captured by this idea that we were in Lambeth, where William Blake resided for many years of his life, and I think he was born there as well. And the fact that this name just randomly came into my head, and
that's divine intervention at its finest.
I don't know.
I would say, you know, and the fact that you said you're doing meditation on your Ira Nari, which I think is the creative one.
Exactly.
There's two sides, right?
Yeah.
And if you need to tap into your creativity, they say through yoga that's the one that you kind of work on. The left, I think the left or right side, you can correct me on that. Yeah. But the fact that, you know, you did that and then it just popped into your head or placed there by the divine is amazing. And that's the power of meditation equally, you know. If you just let go and surrender and not, it's like the concept of a butterfly. You're trying to chase it, hold on, it's going to fly away. But if you just stay still, it will land on you, right? And I like that you mentioned that William Blake. Now, I like William Blake. Songs of Innocence, actually, I really love. And there's a famous poem of his, Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright, which we're diverting now, but I love it. And it's about the Industrial Revolution. So look at that arc. You know, William Blake, you're in his place of birth. Seven eyes could be the chakra. It meant to be, isn't it?
Well, he's also like, I mean, he was sort of prophetic in his writing, and he also had this vision that England is the New Jerusalem, which I find really interesting because, you know, with what's happening in the UK now, you can like that everyone's asking, what is England? You know, what is Britishness? What is, you know, with Brexit and everything. And but he had this vision that there is a holy land amidst all of this madness and chaos and pollution and all of this. He was
very revolutionary, William Blake, of his time, very ahead of his time, describing exactly what you said, things that are happening now. And he's one of my favorite British poets, I'd have to say. I love him. And I'm just conscious of time now. One final question from me, and then we'll, if you wouldn't mind doing a short performance, then we'll take to some questions that we've got here.
Of course.
So, as someone who's multilingual, Tanya, or Bhakti, someone who's multilingual, what language do you dream in?
I dream in English.
Wow. Okay.
What about you?
The reason why, well, it depends what the dream is. Sometimes English, sometimes Spanish. Maybe that's a reminder for me to brush up on my Spanish. Punjabi as well. It's interesting when I'm having sort of dreams about the divine. Those dreams come to me in Punjabi, and that's because I read the scriptures in Gurmukhi, which is the Guru Granth Sahib. So that's probably why. But I ask you that because there's this saying: people who are multilingual, you know, they think in a different language and they dream in a different language. So that's why I wanted to ask you that question.
No, I haven't got to the place yet that I'm dreaming other than in a language other than my mother tongue. But I'm learning different languages. I'm learning Portuguese right now to speak with my husband and his family, and learning French as well. Yeah.
Okay. And you know Hindi and Urdu, obviously.
Yeah, so I can understand some Hindi and Urdu. They're both quite similar, but I wouldn't be able to have like an articulate conversation with someone. But I can understand, you know, when I was living with my guru in India, you know, he would speak to me in Hindi, and, you know, I could understand what he was saying, but it's very, you know, it's just very conversational Hindi.
Yeah, they are similar. They are similar. I think Urdu is just a very poetic language. And personally, I feel that you can't slander anyone in Urdu. If you did, it'd still sound beautiful, you know, because that's just language, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Tanya, if you wouldn't mind singing anything of your choice, maybe. I mean, I'm going to just put recommendation. Maybe Gulo Mein Rang or Mast Kalendar. That's my recommendation. There's some. Let me just go here. There was something.
Let me just say before we wrap up, if you want to see us perform live, we're going to be doing a live garden concert on the 28th of August. So if you go to our website, which is seveneyesofficial.com, you'll see that we're actually starting a campaign in order to raise funds for our upcoming album. And we're going to do this live concert in the garden. And yeah, so anyone who would like to donate towards our new song creations, you can actually buy your ticket through donating, and we will do this garden concert on the 28th.
That sounds amazing. Are you gonna? What I'll do is I will share that at the end of this live. I'll put that on. But yeah, so the other question, like I had, tying in with your band, upcoming projects and gigs, but this is one of them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we've got
that sounds really delightful. A garden concert. That's really nice.
The garden concert. I mean, it's actually my auntie's garden. She's a fantastic gardener, and so there's lilies and roses, and she's just it is Gulo Mein Rang Bhare.
Gulo Mein Rang. Yes, exactly. So I think you have to sing that now, Tanya. And we'll just take while Tanya's getting ready, if anyone has any questions for Tanya or comments. There's some questions here about Rag, but we've just touched on a conversation about Rag, its impact on mood. Please do send any questions. We've got Tanya for another couple of minutes or so.
गुलों में रंग भरे बादलों बहार चले गुलों में रंग भरे बादलों बहार चले भी आओगे गुल गुलशन चले भी आके गुलशन का कारोबार चले गुलों में रंग भरे बादलों बहार चले कफ़स उदास है यारो सबास कुछ तो कहो कफ़स उदास है यारो सबास कुछ तो कहो कहीं तो बहर खुदा आज जिक्र यार चले चले भी आके गुलशन का कारोबार चले गुलों में रंग भरे बादलों बहार चले
Tanya, I think I'm very emotional again. When I first heard this, oh, I've got goosebumps.
Oh, darling. It's
Really
such a
so
beautiful song.
beautiful. Really, I mean, there's many people that have sung this, but like I said, I've got goosebumps. The way you sing it, oh, it's just complete awe, and the hearts were just flying as you were singing. They're still coming through here. Va Subhanallah, beautiful. Va, just so much love
Thank
pouring
you.
in here. Just a question. We've got time for one question, Tanya. Someone said here, does Tanya find similarities in the cultures, Indian and Portuguese? I'm assuming they're being generic in terms of culture, not specifically music, but yeah.
There are some similarities. So my husband's from Brazil, which is different to Portugal. So I can't answer for Portugal, but I have, I've stayed in Brazil for a long time with my husband's family. And I would say the similarities are a very strong emphasis on family. I mean, for Paula's family, it's interesting because also his mum's side has Syrian Lebanese roots, and his dad's side has African, Portuguese, Italian. And so there is something within all of those different cultures that come into his family. And so his family are very close. They always, you know, make sure they have lunch together on a Sunday. And I would say that's quite similar to Indian culture, you know, the emphasis on family and
food.
And a love for food, absolutely, a love for music. It's a very different culture. When I first went there, I was like, whoa, I did not expect this. You know, I thought, oh, I have lived in India, this would be a breeze in the park. It was totally unexpected, and I really am so grateful for this new journey in my life of learning and discovering a different culture, different language, different peoples. I would say, you know, Brazil, there's a beautiful word, alegria, which is, you'll probably understand it in Spanish, alegria.
It sounds familiar to me, yeah.
Alegria means joy. So people are joyful. You meet people, strangers, and they speak with you. They want to, you know, they're very joyful, open people. And I absolutely love that about Brazilian people in general. But yeah, there are some similarities for sure. And I met some lovely Indians living in Brazil, and I would say the weather as well.
Oh yeah, for
warm.
sure.
You get mangoes, the fruits. Oh my God,
Mm.
the fruits. It's like literally
Yeah.
in India, you pluck a mango off the tree. It's the same in
Mm.
Brazil.
Oh wow,
Mm.
that's brilliant. I hope Tanya's answered your question there. Whoever left that one, me's aunt. Thank you for your question. There's actually a lot of love for you, Tanya. Here, lots of
Oh,
hearts, a lot of admiration. Classical music is divine. Someone asked you to sing, which you've sang now. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan is God of music. Just a lot of love and praise for you, Tanya. And it was my immense pleasure to have you with us tonight. I just feel, I know you're sitting there in Switzerland, but you've just graced this little musical corner of my home,
oh,
and I clearly I can see everyone enjoyed that. That's why I wanted you on our page. I wanted to put the spotlight on you because it is being celebrated, South Asian Heritage Month in the UK, by
it's
various
an
other
honor.
organizations.
Thank you so much for asking me. It really is
Thank
an
you.
honor.
I will share details of Tanya and Seven Eyes Band and the concert, the garden concert that she is hosting
Yeah.
on the 28th of August. So I will share all those details and the donation link as well. But Tanya, shukriya. Thank you so much for your time, for your beautiful singing. I really feel it, we are immensely blessed that you gave us this time. So I will let you get on with your evening. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank
Shubrat, Shabak Khair,
you.
good night. Thank you. Thank you
Good
so
night.
much.
Thank you, Hannah. See you.
Bye.
Bye.